But you only have 2 times to make a first impression. When I look at you, or when they look at you, and then when you open your big fucking mouth. And perception is reality. And for those of you that are wearing new suits, and a few of you are, this is not supposed to be sewn to your thing. There's a thread there you're supposed to break. Now, I used to go around pointing you out and say, okay, skinny, but I don't do that anymore because I'm a kinder, gentler man now. I'm a grandfather. So I don't want to embarrass you, but a few of you do have that. Whether you're in Panama and it's 145 degrees, this is the fucking uniform that has made $2.3 trillion. I can show you 1,000. I can show you webinars from now till Christmas, but that doesn't mean you can do it, and you know that. Unless you were brain dead like you, there was no fucking confusion whatsoever. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to be just like all the other hucksters. There's going to be blood in the street, and somebody's got to give up something. There's got to be sacrifices. In your lives, there's going to be motherfucking blood in the streets. What do the kids fear? And he commented, not one question his group, like you, was asked during the week, needed to be asked, because they were all based on fear, your fear. He said, and it's a fear because even though you showed us dozens and dozens and dozens of successes, that doesn't mean I can do it. And I can see that fear in your eyes right now. If fear is a shitty way to run a railroad, but fear works. And even though it's false expectations appearing real, it works. But really, what you need to do is instill fear in others. Otherwise, you're not even jerking off. And in this woke environment, and political correctness in the last 15 or 20 years is a manifestation of lack of self-esteem, because you'd rather be liked than effective. Big companies always think about litigation, but everybody I know and I've ever trained is in a litigation file. So when we go downtown, I can tell you who's going to be the most prepared, me. Because I anticipate that you're going to use my brand in the wrong way and I'm going to sue you in Miami. And you probably won't let me down. And you'll blame it on the Cuban lawyer you used. Warren said, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan. And we're going to give you a plan step by step. Eins, zwei, drei, vier, uno, dos, tres. But you're not going to follow. The most often question I get on my site is, why do you keep telling people they're not going to follow the steps, Mr. Peña? Because they're not. You won't. Your daughter's going to have her sweet 16 birthday. You're going to get invited to a wedding in India that's a 9-day wedding. 42,000 people are going to be there. And I go on and on and on and on and on. I said last night there's certain ethnicities in this room that have certain defaults that are locked in for centuries that you're not going to be able to get rid of. Yet you can still do it. Remember, those that get laser beam focused first, stay laser beam focused longest, win the most. Those are simple words that are extremely hard to replicate with. Remember, I told you have 2 times to make a first impression. First, when they look at you, and then when you open your big fucking mouth and you stick your fucking foot in it. A couple of times we've heard on webinars, we called up, first for the pig fucker, he says we called up my chairman and he was wearing casual clothes, and in the first 15 to 20 minutes, all he did was apologize for being dressed like a fucking pig. Because the pig fucker was wearing his little 3-piece shit thing. All we need is a little leverage. There's a reason why people have been sent to Harvard. There's a reason why people have been sent to Oxford. There's a reason why people have been sent to Cambridge. Because smart and rich rub off, unlike your fucking petty backgrounds. I remember talking to a kid in my house in Palos Verdes, Rolling Hills. He was getting paid $9 million a year to sit on the bench. And he cried in my den. And I go all down the what do you call it? And he cried. He barely knew how to brush his teeth. How's that possible? Because he led a pampered, sheltered, bubble-wrapped life like many of you. See, you can live a sheltered, pampered, bubble-wrapped life and still be poor. But you'll figure a way to step on your dick. 100% guaranteed. The guys that are more educated will find a different way. The guy with no education will find a different way. The guys that have professional credentials will find a way. You'll find a way, believe me. I can't take it anymore because they can't help themselves. What good have you brought to the planet? And I'm not talking about global, none of that bullshit. None. Zero. But it doesn't mean you can't bring some value to the planet. That's not that you're not going to try, but trying doesn't get it done. The fact that you're going to try, old timer, doesn't mean dick to me. Trying doesn't get it done. I'm working on it. What does that mean? It means you don't have the balls to make a decision. You know how you want to make a change in life. You want to be able to, I'm working on it. And that's all the kids can say now. Are you okay? First of all, I don't give a fuck if you're okay. I only give a fuck of the results. Generational wealth is created a series of transactions. One of the biggest challenges you're going to have when you get out there is finding a motivated seller that does not think he can get wealthy off selling this business after running it for 35 years. If you don't tell them that because you're a cunt, you're going to be 50 years old without doing a deal. You're all going to get tired because there's only 24 hours in a day. There's only 7 days in a week. And since most of you have never worked 100 hours in a week, and certainly 120 hours a week, if you really go balls to the wall when you leave here, a third of you will be sick. 10 or 15% of you will be in the hospital because your system's shut down. Literally, your fucking system shut down because you've never pressed yourself. Your immune systems aren't up to the task. Just think about that, how fucked up you are. Now, I've run 40 marathons back to back in 1 month, October 76. 1,052 miles in 1 month. I was twisted steel and motherfucking panther piss then. That's the difference. You have no idea what it is to put forth the effort. The only good words my dad ever told me was, Dan, it's not what they say about you, it's how you interpret. You're bald, you're skinny, you're old. And I always put a positive spin on anything that happened to me growing up, from about 4, 5, or 6 till today. I've done a lot of ugly shit, I've had a lot of ugly shit done to me, but I put a positive spin on it. And now sensitivities and everybody's fragile. It's a hate crime for me to call that guy bald in Scotland. It's a hate crime. I go to jail. For a couple of you that are tubs of shit, for me to call you a tub of shit is a hate crime in Scotland. That's where we are. And that makes it more easy for us. Fuck. Because these sellers, as far-fetched as it sounds, they want you to like them more than you want them to like you. And that's why the program works better, better, and better, and better. Now, do you think that I let him cry on my shoulder? No. Did I answer his calls? No, I don't think so. Talking to me is not going to do you any good. Taking action and pulling the motherfucking trigger is what you need to do. You don't have to look beyond your own close family net, though it's fucking up your life. I'm telling you how it is. It's a sad commentary. The world's fucked up. For those of you that had to get permission to come here, you're going to have it harder. Everybody understand that? If you had to have some kind of moral permission to come here, 2 or 3 of you made the decision as soon as you heard about me, you made it in seconds or microseconds or minutes or whatever. That means you're more in charge of your life. Do you understand that? But you're not raised to make those choices now. You're raised to consensus management is killing the world. It can't fucking kill me. I had a driver named Jimmy years ago. He was a convicted felon in Mississippi. He served 11, 12 years for attempted murder in Mississippi. He was my driver and one of my bodyguards. But he'd take a bullet for me. When he used to take the kids to school, the kids didn't want the longest limo in Texas, which we had, which was true, to drop them off because they were embarrassed being so rich. And so he'd drop them off 6, 8 blocks away, and then he'd follow them on foot till they got to school. And the first time I was told that, I said, "What do you mean you're not taking them into school?" He said, "No." "Well, I know I walked them the rest of the way, sir, because I know you kill me and you kill my children if something happened to your kids." And that's right, I would have. I would have rubbed his fucking DNA off the earth. His black, cock-sucking, skinny ass. I'd do more than blow his face off. Metaphorically speaking, of course, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. If you don't take this as serious as I just said, you're going to fail, or you're going to be one of our 10-year programs. And to me, that's just as bad as failing. One, I may not be here 10 years from now, but even the young kid, I'll probably piss on his grave. Elon Musk thinks that woke and political correctness is killing the world. It's consensus management. It's meetings. Normally, the more meetings you had, the more fucked up the plan was. Well, you're not going to have that joy to be able to blame it on a meeting. In the beginning, you're only going to be able to take responsibility for yourself. Full responsibility. Accountability. Nobody's going to fuck this up but you. Believe me. You're the only person in the beginning because there's only is you. Nobody else is going to be able to fuck it up other than you. But all that's running through the back of your little fucking pea brains. But there's a pay price to action. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice? Most people don't want to sacrifice anything. We all know you're afraid to fail, so don't bullshit. To the extent that you talk to people about coming here, they're all going to say you're a moron. After 6 months and you haven't done a deal, what the fuck's wrong with you? What'd you give that old psychopath that money for? A year you haven't done a deal, and your mother says, get a job. A year and a half, well, your wife's already left you. Don't worry about that. Your wife won't be there anymore. But a lot of it's probably when it first came out, didn't work. But you got to know, you got to understand. You got to understand the 60-40. What do you do with the 40? It doesn't make a fuck. Just stick it up your ass. And even though I'm making this little speech, you're still you got to know about the 40. And here I'm giving presentations to the American Petroleum Institute, arguably the fine, with the signs up of a fucking charts upside down. But you got to know what the fucking 40 means. You know how ludicrous that is? Because you're afraid. You're scared. Do you see how fucking ludicrous this is? When you have no sacks, and that's what it gets down to. You're cowards. Well, this seminar is not going to grow you any sacks. If I had that ability, oh, fuck. I can't even, it's staggering. If I could go sacks, balls on you. But I can't strengthen your resolve. Right now, you're pleasers. For one way or another, you can call it whatever the fuck you want. You're here because you've been pleasers. Mostly because of your parents. Not all. Some because of who you married or didn't marry. You're pleasers. Like most of you in this fucking room. You can't help it. Because you're cunts. Okay, you two. Go fuck yourself.